Alright, this is Jesus Christ, and I want to say welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be setting up our IDE environment, which is Visual Studio 2019. Visual Studio 2019, and we are going to be covering some lessons in computer graphics programming in OpenGL with C++ written by V. Scott Gordon and John Clevenger. Okay? Now, it says here in this book that the preferred IDE of choice is Visual Studio 2017. It says it right here, but I'm assuming it has to be Visual Studio 2017 or later because I'm using Visual Studio 2019, and 2019 has been launching all of the projects without a problem. I tried it in CodeBlocks. CodeBlocks has comes across some issues. On some projects it doesn't work. It doesn't do all the projects. It doesn't launch all the projects correctly, but it does launch a good amount of them. But we want all the projects to work, so we need to use Visual Studio. Visual Studio 2017 is mentioned here. When you go on to page 351, and you go to Appendix A, and it says it right here in highlight. Visual Studio 2017 is being used. You can use CodeBlocks, but you're not going to get as much of a good performance as you would in Visual Studio 2019. So I'll show you where you can download or torrent Visual Studio 2019. It's a torrent I've already tried, and it's a torrent that I trust. And let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get our hands dirty with setting up this IDE environment, developer's environment. Okay, so first I want to go ahead and set up a new folder. I'm going to call it Setup, all caps. And let's go ahead and launch Visual Studio 2019. And I'm going to go ahead and get started with a create new project. And up here we want to select C++, all platforms, all project types. And we want to click empty project. We want to click next. And let's call this OpenGL project. And let's click the three dots right here. Where do we want this project at? We want this in our setup folder, which is the folder right here. So we're going to go ahead and click setup, and we want to click select folder. We want to click create, and in that folder you're going to see OpenGL project, which is what we did name our project. So you go inside and you're going to see a solution folder or a solution file. And inside your OpenGL project folder, you're going to see VC++ project, VC++ project filter file, and a per user project options file. Okay, so while we're looking in this, what we want to do, we want to set up some important folders. We want to create a new folder, and we want to call that GLEW. I name it GLEW, preferably. _INC _LIB, and inside that folder I'm going to create two new folders. I'm going to name one include, and I'm going to name another one lib. Lib is short for library. We'll go ahead and shrink that down. And now what we want to do, now that we've created those folders, what we want to do is set up our IDE to be able to read and scan those folders, or link our IDE up to those folders, because all of our third-party third-party things are going to go inside the lib and the include folder right in here. So, okay, so what we want to do, we want to go into our Solution Explorer, and you want to right-click on your OpenGL project and go down to Properties. You want to go to you want to first make sure that click on Active Debug and make sure it's on all configurations. Click on Platform up here and make sure it's on all platforms. You want to go down to VC++ directories and click on Include Directories. Click the little arrow down here and click Edit. Excuse me. You want to click on New Line, this little folder icon up here. You want to click on the 3 dots. You want to locate your GLEW folder, and then you want to double click on that and go inside of it, and you want to click on Include. Go down here and click Select Folder. This is linking up to your Include folder. You want to click OK, then you want to click Apply. You want to go down to Linker. You want to go to General. Then you want to go down to Additional Library Directories. You want to click on the little arrow on the right down here or over here. Click on Edit. Click on that same icon, the new line icon or the new folder icon. Click on the 3 dots and locate your lib folder. That's going to be in your GLEW folder. Double click on GLEW, go inside of it. And actually, let's change this name to lib. Okay, so the 2 folders that's supposed to be inside your GLEW folder is Include and Lib. Okay, and what we want to do, we want to link this to lib. Select folder and click OK. Okay, so the 2 folders, first this should be linked up to lib. And you want to click OK. And those 2 folders are not inside there. I made a mistake. It should be Include and Lib, not Library. Include and Lib. Okay, so now we have this linked up, the linker linked up to our lib folder, as you can see right there. And we'll click Apply on that, and we'll go to our input. And we're going to go to our additional dependencies. We're going to click on our little arrow that we have over here. Click Edit. And over here we want to type Open GL32.lib. You just pretty much want to type all these things that we see right here. Then you want to type GLEW32.lib. You want to type GLFW3.lib. Then you want to type SOIL2 -debug.lib. You want to click OK. You want to click Apply. And you want to click OK again. Alright, so now we have our include and our lib folder set up, along with our additional dependencies, or whatever you call that. What do we call it again? Additional dependencies, yep. And these are the 4 additional dependencies that you want to have typed in there. So now what we're going to do is we want to set up our test files. So we can test everything, make sure our SOIL is our GLEW file or files are GLFW files, GLM, and our SOIL2 is working correctly. Okay? So I'm going to include this little folder right here for you so that you can download it and so that you can set up inside your Visual Studio just like I'm setting up in mine. Okay? So I'm going to go to test files. And you're going to see a brick one, you're going to see a frag shader GLSL file, you're going to see main utils files, and you're going to see a vershader.glsl file. You want to highlight all these, copy them, and you want to paste in here with your VC++ project file, your VC++ project filters, and your per user file. Okay. So these are the files where all your project files are going to go, so that you could test to make sure everything is working correctly. All right. Now what we're going to do is access those files inside of our IDE. So you want to right click on your OpenGL project, click on add, go to add and go to existing item. And you want to hold control and click vert shader, utils, main, ice, frag shader, and your brick one. You want to add all these files like so. Let's double click on our main.cpp. And inside your main.cpp, you're going to see SOIL2, you're going to see GLEW. You're going to see a lot of files up here, a lot of include declarations up here that you're going to need. Okay, we want to set our ID up so that it can read and understand and know where our GLEW is, know where our GLFW 3.h is, know where your SOIL2 is, know where your GLM is, and all that good stuff, and also know where your utils.h is. Okay, so let's go ahead and minimize that. Size our window up. And let's go ahead and give it a build and rebuild solution and find out what it's asking for. You go down here, it's asking for GLEW.h, no such file directory. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to give it GLEW. We want to give our GLEW.h is up here. This is the first include. All right, so we want to give our include folder GLEW.h. All right, so let's go in our EWFW GLM SOIL2 folder, which is what I'm going to include in the download. You'll be able to download. I'm going to include that link beneath the video, and you'll be able to download it. These are all my files for GLEW, GLFW, GLM, and Spartan J SOIL2 folder. Spartan J SOIL2. All right. And we're going to go. It's asking for GLEW.h, so we need to go in our GLEW folder, GLEW, and we need to click on our include. Excuse me. And inside there, you're going to see a GL folder. Inside there, you're going to see eGLEW, GLEW, GLXEW, and WGLEW. This is what it's asking for. Okay, so we want to copy this include. We want to go and we want to paste it inside of our inklib folder. You can see there's nothing inside of this include folder right now. There's nothing inside of it. So we'll go back and it will paste like so. And we'll go into the include folder and you can see that everything is there now. So we gave our include folder GLEW. So what we're going to do, we're going to run another rebuild to see what it's asking for now. Down here it's asking for GLGLEW.h, and you run a rebuild and let's see what it's asking for next. Okay, so now it's not asking for GLEW.h anymore. Why? Because we just gave it GLEW.h. We gave it the GLEW in the include folder. So now it's asking for GLFW 3.h, which is this line right here. See, it's not asking for this anymore because we gave it that. So now I moved on to the next line. Now it's asking for this. That's GLFW 3.h. Okay, so let's go ahead and give it our include folder that now. Okay, so we'll go to our GLFW 3 folder, which is going to be right here. And this is what's inside of it. This is what's inside the include. You'll see a GLFW3 and you'll see a native file. You want to copy this and you want to paste it in the include that's linked to your IDE or linked to your project. You can see it's not in there. We'll go ahead and paste here. And now your GLFW is in there now. Let's go inside and you'll see the GLFW3 and you'll see the native is there now. Okay, so let's go ahead and run another rebuild to see what it's asking for now. Go into our build, rebuild solution, and now it's asking for SOIL2.h, which you could find right here. It's asking on this line now. See, we already gave it these two, so now it's asking for SOIL2.h. Okay, so let's go ahead and give it the include folder, SOIL2. And you'll find that right here. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, it's asked for SOIL2. And let's go and check, see what we have inside of our SOIL2 folder. Include. And this is what your SOIL2 looks like. All this stuff right here. Okay, so we'll go back, copy the include folder, copy, and we're going to paste inside the include folder. See, it right now has GL and GLFW. So we'll go ahead and paste. And now when you go inside the include folder, you see that all the SOIL2 stuff is there now. You have your SOIL2 folder. Inside that you have a SOIL2 file. And you go all the way down to WFETC. And those are all your files related to SOIL2. Okay, so we'll go back. And we want to run another rebuild and see what it's asking for now. It's asking for GLM now. Okay, so let's give it GLM. And GLM is everything right here. She was asking for this before. We gave it that. So now it's asked for GLM. We need to give it GLM. Okay, so let's go ahead and find our GLM. That's our GLM. You open it up, and that's what it looks like inside. Detail, EXT, GTC, GTX, SIMD, and you got all your little .hpp files here. This is a common exponential extension, EXT, all that good stuff right here. Okay, so we'll go back, and inside of our GLEW folder, we want this GLM folder to go inside of our include folder right here. Okay, so we want to copy our GLM, or we want to go in our include, and we want to paste our GLM in here. And there you have your GLM right down there. Okay, so now our GLM is successfully inside of our include folder. We'll go ahead and open this up, and we'll run a build, and it should detect our GLM folder right now. Rebuild solution, and let's find out what it's asking for now. It's asking for a GLEW32.lib file. Cannot open file, GLEW32.lib. Okay, so this is in relation to our lib folder. Okay, so now you can see there's nothing inside of our lib folder. You go inside of your GLEW and you open up the lib folder, there's nothing inside there. It needs the GLEW32.lib file. So what we need to do, we need to find the GLEW32, go back to GLEW32, or go back to GLEW, and we need to go to our lib folder, and inside that you'll see a Win32 and an x64. We're gonna go into our Win32, and you're gonna see GLEW32 and GLEW32S. Okay, so you want to copy both of those, and you want both of these to go inside your lib folder for your IDE. That's linked to your IDE. Okay, so we'll go in our lib and we'll paste like so. We'll go back in here and we will run a rebuild to see what it's asking for next. Okay, so now it's asked for GLFW3.lib. cannot open file, GLFW3.lib. All right, so we'll go ahead and find our GLFW3, which is right here. And in this case, when you go inside of that folder, you're going to see a bunch of folders. You're going to see libmin.gw64. You're going to see lib static. And these right here are the libs for Visual Studio. VC 2013, 2015, 2017, 2019. We want our 2019 because we are using Visual Studio 2019, which says right here, Microsoft Visual Studio Enterprise 2019. And what we want to do, we want to go inside that lib VC 2019. You want to highlight all your lib.lib files here, GLFW3, GLFW3, MT, and your GLFW3.dll. Highlight all these like so, copy, and paste along with the other lib files that you have here. Alright, so let's go back in our IDE and let's run another rebuild, see what it's asking for. Now it's asking for SOIL2-debug.lib. Cannot open file, SOIL2-debug.lib. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and we're going to find our lib file for the SOIL2. We go down to Spartan J underscore SOIL2 master, and we go in our lib folder, and there you have it. You have the SOIL2 debug.lib. So we'll copy and paste that. And we're going to paste it in our lib folder, like so. Okay, so go back in here. We'll run another rebuild to see what it's asking for after that. Rebuild solution. And we get rebuild all down here. It says rebuild all, 1 succeeded, 0 failed, 0 skipped. So it should work after this. Let's do local Windows debugger, and let's run our project. And it's saying the program can't start because GLEW32.dll is missing from your computer. Try reinstalling the program to fix this problem. Okay, so we need, let's go ahead and close that. What we need is the GLEW32.dll. So we go in our GLEW32, our glue folder, and you want to go into your bin, release, Win32, and you're going to see that file that you need, GLEW32.dll. You want to copy that. And where do you want this? You want this not inside the include or lib folder, but you want this in a different location. We want to put this one inside our project folder, OpenGL underscore project. You want this file amongst your image files, your project files, pretty much. You want this amongst the VC++ project, the project filters file, and the per user project options file. Okay, along with the rest of the files that you have. You have your JPEG file here, your GLSL file here, you have your CPP file, and you have your .h file, your utils.h file. Okay, so let's go ahead and paste it here. And we'll go back on our IDE and we'll click OK. I'm going to click X right there, and we're going to close this out. And everything should work. We'll go ahead and build and give it another rebuild. Do you want to stop debugging? I'll click yes. And we should get another 1 succeeded. Down here it does say 1 succeeded. Let's go ahead and give it another run, and everything should work now. And it works. So that is how you set up your your IDE so that it can read your GLFW, GLEW, your GLM, and your SOIL2. So now that you have everything working correctly, you should be able to follow along in this book that we're going to be covering. And that's this book right here, Computer Graphics Programming in OpenGL. Okay, so we're going to be going, you're going to see a red window. This is the syntax for it. You're going to be seeing a black window with a little vertex in it, and then you're going to get into some interesting stuff. You're going to be seeing a torus. We're going to program all this stuff in all of these projects, and it's best to use Visual Studio. And I'm going to include all the files. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.